guys, it's Stock Curry, and if you've been trading for less than 2 years, you probably struggle with knowing when to buy, when to sell, how to do technical analysis, and how to trade options. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can learn those things so that you can become a confident trader. So let's get into it! Alright, before I show you how you can build confidence in your trading abilities, I first want to go over some market news that came out today. And the first thing we got to talk about is the fact that the market is now on track for its best week since November, with the indices up nearly 5% so far. Now the futures are down a little bit, and I think futures traders are kind of pricing in the fact that Friday's probably going to be a profit-taking day, and a lot of people don't like to hold their stocks over the weekend. So I think Friday might be a little bit of a down day as people take profits, but overall, in the very short term, the markets remain bullish on the technicals. Now, oil prices did rise 8% though, and while the markets did blow off the rise in oil prices on Thursday, it remains to be seen if the markets will continue to ignore this resurgence in the rise in oil prices. Now, the U.S. Congress, that is the House, passed legislation that would end normal trade relations with Russia. This basically allows the president and the U.S. to increase the tariffs on Russian imports. But because of the heavy sanctions that have already been imposed, this is mostly a symbolic move, and it will have very little effect on what little remaining trade we actually do with Russia. The bigger news was the fact that Russia managed to pay its foreign debt payment, and more so, that they made that payment in US dollars. It was uncertain whether or not Russia would be able to pay their US dollar debts after being isolated and removed from SWIFT. So that was good news that helped prop up the markets on Thursday. Unfortunately, inflation and rising interest rates are starting to take a toll on the economy. Mortgage rates rose above 4% for the first time in 3 years. Higher mortgage rates reduce homeowner buying power and will eventually lead to a slowdown in the demand in real estate. With the way real estate prices have been rising over the past few years, rising mortgage rates will eventually lead to the real estate bubble popping and home prices falling. This is similar to what we saw in 2007, right before the Great Recession, although for very different reasons. From 2005 to 2007, the massive rise in housing prices was fueled by lax lending policies and subprime mortgages. For the past 3 years, however, the massive rise in housing prices has been fueled by historically low rates and massive amounts of stimulus. In 2007, as lending practices started to tighten up and subprime mortgages started to disappear, that caused a slowdown in demand, which eventually fueled a drop in housing prices. That drop in housing prices led to a lot of homeowners being upside down, meaning they owed more on their house than their house was actually worth. This time, a rise in mortgage rates and a decrease in government stimulus is causing a slowdown in demand, which will eventually lead to a drop in housing prices. And with so many people paying well above appraisal value for their homes, the drop in housing prices will lead to a lot of people being upside down. So even though the causes are drastically different from 2007 to now, the end result is the same. A slowdown in demand for home purchases, leading to home values dropping, leading to people being upside down, leading to an increase in foreclosures, leading to a recession. Now, nobody knows how long it will take for all of that to happen. I worked as vice president for a mortgage company right before the Great Recession started, and I saw lending practices start to tighten up in 2006, and yet it took nearly an entire year for housing prices to start to fall. So now we're starting to see the very beginnings of mortgage rates rising, which will lead to a slowdown in demand. But it will probably be another year or so before housing prices actually start to fall. So that means we won't see a recession caused by housing until next year at the earliest. And that lines up with a lot of the other economic recession data that I've reviewed on this channel over the past few months, saying that a recession is coming, but it will not start until next year. Okay, that brings me to the topic of today's video. Last year, 1 million new millionaires were created in the United States. It's almost becoming easy to become a millionaire. The two leading ways people became millionaires last year were with the stock market and crypto. With stocks and crypto making so many people millionaires, I wanted to find out what was holding people back from making money in the market this year. Because even as the stock market has been falling over the past few months, both myself and the people in the Discord have been making money. So I asked people in the Discord what was holding them back from making money, and what I found was most people said their biggest issue was not having confidence. Not having confidence to know when to buy, not having confidence in reading technical charts, not having confidence in trading options, and not having confidence in knowing when to sell. So overall, this lack of confidence is leading people to miss opportunities in the market because they're afraid to pull the trigger. They're afraid to jump in because they just don't have a lot of confidence in, say, buying a put option, and they're afraid to actually pull the trigger on that, which means they can't really make money as the market goes down. And so this lack of confidence is causing people to miss opportunities, which in turn is causing people to lose money. So what I really want to do in today's video is help you build your confidence. I want to help you learn how you can grow your confidence. Now, before we get into this, I do want to clarify that it's going to take time. If you're a new trader, don't expect to be completely and totally confident overnight. It's just not going to happen. Now, yeah, I know, I get it. Some people probably were feeling really confident back in January and February last year, but, you know, that's a false confidence that quickly got shattered in March when all of these high growth stocks that have run up to insane valuations crashed back down to normal. And now, unfortunately, a lot of those people are left holding the bag. I mean, there are people that watch this channel, they're down 60-70% in their portfolio. And so what I want to do is I want to help you kind of turn that around, gain some confidence, and start making money again. So the first thing I want to say is let's talk about when to sell, because I think that's probably the easiest one to cover. So I know a lot of YouTubers, especially at the beginning of last year, they were just talking about what to buy. You know, buy the stock, it's going to 10x, and buy the stock, it's going to double, and buy, it's going to go up and up and up. And, you know, I covered a lot of that and talked about a lot of those short-term trades, and we made money on the way up too. But if you go back and look at my really old early videos, especially towards the end of January in 2021, I started talking about, you know what, guys, I think a pullback is coming. I really do. I felt like valuations were getting too high. I felt like a major pullback was going to come. And I started talking about that. And, you know, a lot of people at that time said I was just crazy. But one thing I did do for you is I went through those stocks, and I covered over 500 stocks last year. And I went through those stocks and I gave you buy enter prices, but more importantly, I gave you a stop loss price. And of course, after the major market fall, I think in about December of last year, I went through that and I put a Twitter post up, as many as I could fit in one tweet, which wasn't very many, but I found hundreds of stocks that were below the stop loss price. And not just below it, they were like 50, 60, 70% below the stop loss price. And so the first key in knowing when to sell is really simple. Set a price target before you buy. Meaning, before you get into that trade, you got to know why you're actually buying it. And once you know why you're buying it, you can figure out when to get out. So, you know, whatever it is, if it's a price thing, if it's a momentum play, something like that, you got to set 2 price targets on when to sell. Your first price target on when to sell is when you're going to take profits. You know, if you're up, whatever, 20, 30, 40%, whatever your number is, when you get to that, you got to close it out. You got to take profits. Don't be afraid to take profits, because if you don't take profits, it's going to turn around. You're going to have a losing trade. So make sure you take profits. So the first price target you have to set is when you're going to sell to take profits. The second price target you have to set is when you're going to sell at a loss. So it's your stop loss price. Meaning, you know what, if this goes down 5% or 10%, whatever your number is, you don't want to lose more than that, just go ahead, sell out. I know, I get it. It's extremely difficult to sell and lose money. You got YouTubers out there saying, you don't lose money until you sell. I guess, you know, kind of, sort of, technically that's true, you know, unless the stock goes to zero and gets delisted and you never sold, now you've literally lost 100%. The fact is, you do lose money. I mean, you have buying power that is tied up in losing trades. That buying power that's tied up in losing trades could be used to go buy put options and make money as the market's going down. It could be used to go buy gold stocks that are running up like crazy, or to go buy Chinese stocks that have rebounded, or to go buy banking stocks that are going to go up as interest rates continue to go up. There are so many places you could have your money in things that are rising, but first, you've got to get out of those trades that you're bag holding from last year. So that's the first thing, is how to know when to sell. You got to know when to sell before you actually buy. So if you set price targets on when to sell before you buy, both a take profit price and a stop loss price, then all you got to do is execute. And that's how you know when to sell. That's how you gain confidence. And hopefully over time, you're doing a whole lot more of the selling at your take profit price than you are selling at a stop loss price. And that will happen. Over time in the market, that will happen. Absolutely. Like, not every market's a bear market. Most of the time, we're in a bull market. And we make money as the market goes up. So that's definitely the first point. Now, the second point is having confidence in how do you know when to buy? And that basically boils down to you have to know why you're buying before you buy. So many new investors start trading in the market. They have no clue what's going on. They don't know anything, so they just buy what somebody else talked about. And I get it. That completely makes sense. And I'm not going to lie. I did the exact same thing when I first started trading because I had no idea what I was doing. 20 years ago, I was clueless. Now, all right, I'm going to show my age. 20 years ago, I got my stock picks via fax. Okay? There, I said it. Okay, boomer. I'm not really a boomer. I'm Gen X. But anyway, yes, I got my stock picks via fax. Whatever. The point is, every single person who first starts out trading is just going to buy whatever somebody else is recommending. But over time, you've got to learn how to find your own traits. And you have to learn how to know why you're buying something. And it can't just be because somebody else mentioned it. So this is just an education thing, right? You've got to learn technical analysis so you can know, maybe you're buying it for some technical reason because the charts have turned bullish now. And you've got to be able to know how to do technical analysis so that you can watch those charts and you can say, okay, I agree, this is going to go bullish, but if I'm going to know when to sell, I've got to know when that technical chart turns bearish, right? How else am I going to know when to sell? And because again, you got to know when to sell before you actually buy. So you got to learn technical analysis. Now, if it's a fundamental thing and somebody says the stock is undervalued, well, great. You got to know how to do fundamental analysis so that you yourself can determine is this true or is the guy just blowing smoke? I can't tell you how many analyst reports I've read that were it almost looks like propaganda. And I get it. I understand the world, right? Like, the analysts who work for these banks, they're not giving their actual honest opinions. Hate to say it, but that's the truth. The analysts who work for banks are always going to be more bullish than they even know they should be. Because you have to be. Unfortunately, in order to do proper analysis, you need access to key members at the company. You need access to the CEO. You need access to management and leadership. You need access to their customers to be able to do scuttlebutts and things like that. And you can't do that if the company hates the last analyst report you put out on them and now they're ghosting you, right? So you have to be bullish. You have to kind of butter up. That's why normally when you see analyst reports, you got a buy, a hold, or a sell rating. And the vast majority of those ratings are buy, some are hold, and almost never will you see a sell rating. It's very, very rare. Because analysts don't want to give a company a sell rating because they know that that's going to ruin the relationship with that company. So just a heads up, if you're looking at tip ranks or something and you see a hold, the hold is really a sell, right? Anybody that says sell, it's like major sell. But if somebody puts hold, that means sell. And if somebody puts buy, that means buy. Maybe. Could be hold. But hold really means sell. And it's all a sales thing. It's not, analysts that work for these banks, they're just trying to sell. They're just trying to stay in good relationship with the company that they're analyzing. So, again, the reports typically, generally, be pretty bullish. But you're not going to know that unless you're able to do fundamental analysis and learn this stuff for yourself and look at the PE ratios and say, this company that's growing 5% a year, is this 50 PE ratio reasonable? No, not at all. That PE ratio should be 15, right? But how do you know that unless you know how to do fundamental analysis? So that all goes into building confidence on when to buy, is knowing how to analyze a stock and a company. once you know how to analyze that stock and company, you're going to have a lot of confidence in your buying decisions. So that leads me to the next thing is, how do you gain confidence? How do you know how to analyze companies? How do you know how to do technical analysis? How do you know how to do fundamental analysis? And then I guess this kind of ties into the other part too, is how do you know how to trade options? How do you learn options? Because I think building confidence on knowing when to buy and sell, ultimately what it's going to boil down to is gaining the knowledge on how to do your research and then how to use options to maximize your profits. That's what it ultimately boils down to. And the way that works is the knowledge that you're going to gain from learning how to do these things, when that knowledge is combined with practice and actually going out and doing it, that experience that you gain, knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. It's kind of like putting a bicycle together. I'll give you an analogy here. Let's say you go out, you go to Walmart or something, you buy a bicycle for your kid. And you open up the box and you've got 100 pieces lying on the floor. And you've got an instruction manual. Now, there are 3 ways you can go about this. You can either go about it with knowledge, meaning you open that instruction manual, you read through it, you get to the end, you go back to the beginning, you read it, get to the end, go back to it, you just read it over and over. You memorize the instruction manual. But the bicycle's still laying there in pieces because you never actually took action to put the bicycle together. Another way you could go about it is with experience. You could just toss the instruction manual aside and start screwing things together. In the end, you're still not going to have a bicycle. It's still going to be laying there in a something. I don't know what you'll create, but it's probably not going to be a bicycle because you only went out of experience and you never took time to gain knowledge on how to put the bike together. But if you combine those two and you combine the knowledge from the instruction manual with the experience of actually putting the bicycle together based upon the information in the instruction manual, now what you've done is you have used wisdom. You are wise in using the instruction manual to put the bicycle together, and in the end, you have a completed bicycle. So this is how it works in the stock market as well. You have to take the knowledge of learning how to do analysis and research. You have to take knowledge of learning how to trade options. You have to combine that with experience, meaning you got to go out there and actually place trades and learn. Yeah, you're probably going to lose more than you win at first, but very quickly, that experience combined with the knowledge you're gaining is going to combine and just going to become wisdom, and that wisdom is going to lead to confidence, and it's going to make you a very successful and profitable trader. So all I can really do as a YouTuber is provide knowledge. It's up to you to go out and take that knowledge and practice it and go gain the experience. So if you're interested in learning knowledge and you want to build your confidence, and I hope you do, because I'm here to help you do it, then I have a coaching program where I coach people on how to do fundamental analysis, how to do technical analysis, how to trade options, both on a basic level and at a more advanced level. The people who have been in the coaching program for a little while, they are gaining a lot of confidence and they're making a lot of money. And that's why people are sticking around. And ultimately, that's what it's about, right? It's about making money so that you can make money for you and your family so that eventually one day you can become financially free and you can become a millionaire just like a million other people did last year. So if that's something you want, you can go ahead and sign up for the coaching program. I have a link for it in the description of this video. The link is at stockcurry.vip/coaching. Again, stockcurry.vip/coaching. It's the knowledge you gain in there combined with the experience and the practice that's going to give you the wisdom and confidence you need to become a successful trader. By the way, if you are a VIP member, go ahead and put a curry emoji in the comments. If you don't know what the curry emoji is, it kind of looks like this depending upon the platform that you're on. You can also just Google search curry emoji and copy and paste it. But go ahead and put a curry emoji in the comments for me. Let me know you're a VIP member. I'd love to connect with you guys here on YouTube, and just put a Discord screen name to a YouTube screen name. I'd love to make that connection. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. I hope to see you in the coaching program where we can learn and grow together and make money together. If you need a broker to trade with, I want to remind you that Webull is offering their best promotion ever right now. Webull, when you sign up using my link in the description below and deposit at least $1, is going to give you 5 free stocks worth up to $9,600. And of course, they also give you $5 in free crypto when you make your first crypto trade. And Webull has multi-leg options, which are extremely easy to use. Way easier than Robinhood, I'll tell you that. So if you want to get 5 free stocks worth up to $9,600 and you want a very easy way to trade options, then you can sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. Just don't forget to deposit at least $1 before the end of this month. Now, if you're not a U.S. resident or if you're looking to trade OTC penny stocks, then I recommend Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is a highly discounted trading platform. Trades start at just $1 US, $1 Canadian dollar, 4 euros, or 6 Australian dollars, depending upon where you are. And both Webull and Interactive Brokers both offer the full pre-market and after-hours trading from 4 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I do want to remind you they have material connections with both of those, so whenever you sign up for either one, not only are you getting a great broker to trade with, you're also helping me to continue to produce these great videos for you. Now, finally, I want to remind you to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow the page if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you on Monday.